Hello friends, welcome to the part 5 of Python for Gen AI and LLM series. In this particular video, we will talk about operators and operands in Python. So we will be covering different type of operators like arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logical operators, and assignment operators. There are two other types of operators, identity and membership operators. So identity and membership operators are primarily used in case of strings or lists, etc. that we will cover in our future videos. So we will not cover it as part of this video. And bitwise operators perform operations on binary values. So again, that is something which you may not require to learn at this moment because our course is focused on Python for AI and LLMs, and we'll hardly encounter any bitwise operators. But if at all we do, I will cover it in that section. So without much ado, let's go to our VS Code. And I have a series where I have covered the basics of Python. So I will leave a link here in the description. And if you want to start from the beginning, you install a VS Code and then you can start from the basics. Okay, so operators are special symbols or keywords that perform operations on variables and values. These variables and values are called operands. So let's explore different type of operators in Python. So we will start with arithmetic operators. So let me just add a markdown here, and I'll say arithmetic operators. Okay, this is not a markdown. Let me just add a markdown here. Okay. Okay, so let's add a code block here, and let's use two variables here. Let's say A is a variable that has value of 15, and then I'll say B is a variable that has a value of let's say 4. So we have initialized these two variables. Now we want to see what are the different type of operators and what will be the outcome of operations between these two. So let's start by printing A plus B, right? And let me do a control enter, right? So it's just doing a sum of A plus B, that is 15 plus 4, and the value you can see as 19. Let's just make it a little more presentable. So what we can do is we can print a string before that mentioning addition, and then I'll add a comma, and then I will put A plus B, and let me hit enter, right? So we can see that if we use addition operator, it will just sum these two or more values. Now let's take an example of subtraction. So I'll say print subtraction A minus B, and I will do a control enter. So you can see that in case of subtraction, it has subtracted 4 from 15. So the value that we see for subtraction is 11, right? Let's go to our next operator, and there we will talk about multiplication. So for multiplication, right, you need to give a star between two, an asterisk for multiplication, and that will multiply these two values here. So let me just do a control enter, and the multiplication output is 60. 15 into 4 is equal to 60. Next operator that we will talk about is division. So just do a /A/B, and the output will show us the value of the division. Now this division value, right, you can see it has two components. One is the integer component that's on the left side, and the remaining is the decimal component, that is .75. So this output has came as a value that is the float, right? But then there are scenarios where we only need the integer part of that value, right? So if we only want to get the integer part of that value, what we do is floor division. So if we do double slash, right, it will only show us the integer part of the division operation. So let's do a floor division, and the value you can see is 3. That is the integer part only of the division value. So that's called floor division. Next is the modulus operator. So let's just say print modulus, and for modulus we use the symbol of percentage. So this percentage sign will be between A and B. Now what modulus does is it gives us the remainder value, right? So uh, it will give us the remainder value. If we will divide if we will divide A by B, that is 15 by 4, right? What will be the remainder? The remainder value again will be 3. So these two are different operators. Don't get confused between these two. Floor division will give us the integer component of the division if we will divide A by B, and modulus will give us the remainder value. So let me just write, it will give us the integral integer value of division, and modulus will give us remainder. So while both are same, right? Let me just for a moment, let me change it to, let's say, 16, and then, right, you can see the modulus becomes 0 because there is no remainder if we will divide 16 by 4, right? So let's go back to 15 only for this video. And next, we'll talk about exponentiation, right? So I'll say print exponent a double asterisk b. So that is a raised to the power of b, right? And if I want to see the outcome, I'll just hit enter, and you can see it's 15 to power 4, right? That is 15 into 15 into 15 into 15. So result is 50625, right? So these are the arithmetic operators in Python. I believe they are easy to understand because mathematics, I believe you would have all went through these most of these operators already in some other way. So they are the arithmetic operators. Next, we will talk about comparison operators. So let me just add markdown here, and I'll see comparison operators. So comparison operators, they are used to compare values and return a Boolean result. Right? So you have to keep in mind that comparison operators will return a Boolean result, that's true or false, right? So let's just let me add a code block here, and let's use two different variables here. I'll say x equal to 10 and y equal to 20, and now let's try some comparison operators, right? So first one, I'll say print, and then I'll say x double equal to y, right? So that's the comparison operator here, right? Let me do a control enter, and the result is false because x is not equal to y, right? So let's make it a little more presentable. So I'll add a string before that that says x double equal to y, and then I'll add a comma here and add a space. Okay, so let's hit enter. Yeah, x double equal to y is false, right? Next one that we will talk about is not equal to. So let's say print, and then I'll say x, and not equal to is denoted by exclamation and then equal to, right? So that means not equal to, and I'll say x not equal to y, right? And then I'll just put x and then not equal to y here, and let's see the output. So what should be the output? Is the value of x equal to y? No. So our output should be false, right? So sorry, our output should be true because x is not equal to y. So here you can see x is not equal to y is true, right? Next, we'll talk about greater than. So we'll say print x greater than y, and I'll hit enter. So you can see x greater than y is false because x is less than y, right? So that's what our next operator is. That will say x is less than y, and let me do a control enter. So x is actually less than y, right? So that should return true as the output. Now there are two more comparison operators that we'll touch base. One is greater than or equal to y. So if I'll say x is greater than or equal to y, right, the output will be false because x is neither greater nor equal to y, right? And last but not the least, we'll talk about less than equal to. So that will say if x is less than or equal to y. So x, the value of x is actually less than y, right? X is 10 and y is 20. So the output will be true, right? So these are the comparison operators. Now, let's talk about the next section of operators that are called logical operators. So let me add a new code block here, and let me add a maybe markdown first, and let's say logical operators. So I will leave a copy of this file in my GitHub account, and I'll leave the link in the description of this video. So you can refer to the description for reference. So I'll say logical operators. They combine multiple conditions using logical operators. Okay, so let me add a code block here. So I'll say code, and then let's say the value of a is true. So these logical operators work only between Boolean values, right? So let's create two Boolean variables, and I'll say value is true, and then I'll take b, and the value of b is false, right? So first let's say AND. So a and b, AND is the first logical operator. So let's just type a is print a and b, and then we'll say a and b, right? So a and b is false. So if we say true and false, the output is always false. It's more like 1 and 0. And when I say AND, I'm in a way multiplying 1 and 0, right? So output will be 0. So if I do a and b, the output will be 0, right? Now let's go to our next line, and there we'll see the next operator. So next operator is OR. So if we'll say print A or B, right? So what should be the output here? The output should be true, right? Because when we do a OR between 1 and 0, right, the output will be 1. So 1 means true. And here the output is A or B gives us the output of true, right? Next one we'll say print not A, right? So not A will negate the value. So A's value is true, right? When we say not A, right, the value will be false. So not A means not true. Not true means false, right? So this is the output of these logical operators, and, or, and not, right? Not, these three are the logical operators that are used in Python. And then let's talk about assignment operators. So let me add a new markdown, and I'll say assignment operators. So assignment operators are used to assign values to variables with or without performing operations, right? So what do I mean by with or without performing operations? Okay, so we have already seen one assignment operator multiple times in our series, that is equal to, right? So let's take an example. I'll say num equal to 10, right? And then I'll say print, and I'll say put a string, and I'll say initial value, and here I'll say num, right? So our initial value is 10, right? So that has printed the initial value, and you can see that we have used this assignment operator equal to give a value to this variable num. Okay, so next operator is plus equal to, right? So I'll say num plus equal to 5, right? So the value of plus equal to means num plus 5. Here you can see, right? Num equal to num plus 5. This is just another way of saying num equal to num plus 5. So plus equal to is widely used in loops. So I'll say num plus equal to 5. The output will be num equal to num plus 5, right? So just let's just try to print it, right? So print, and I'll say after plus equal to 5 num, right? And I'll execute it. So the value will become 15, right? So after plus equal to, the value will be 15. Sorry, what is showing? Okay. After plus equal to 5 and then num. Okay, so after we do plus equal to 5, right, the value has become 15. Now, next, the same, very similar to this one is into equal to. So I'll say num, and then I'll say asterisk, and I'll say equal to, and the value, let's give it 2, right? So num equal to num into 2, that will be the value of this particular operator, right? So into equal to 2, right? So num equal to num into 2, what will be the value? So our value is 15, right? If we multiply 15 by 2, right, the value will be 30, right? So let's in the next line, let's say print after star equal to 2, and let's do a control enter, right? So you can see it's after star equal to 2, the value will becomes 30, right? Let me just maybe add a equal to, so to avoid any confusion, and yeah, so after plus equal to 5 is 15, after uh, star equal to 2, it's 30, right? And similarly, one more assignment operator is there, that's called minus equal to. So if I say num minus equal to 3, and then I'll print, right? I'll just do a print after that, print after minus 3 equal to num, right? And then the value will become 27, right? So why? Because 30 minus 3 is equal to 27, right? And then similarly, I can also use a divide operator, division equal to. And if I say num division equal to, the output will be num equal to num divided by 2, right? So here I'll say print after divided by 2, and let's see the output. So it will divide the last value, that is 27, and 27 by 2, the output will be 13.5. So these are the operators that I wanted to cover in this session. Like I said, there are two more operators, identity and membership operator and bitwise operator, but we are not covering them for now because we may not require it for the rest of the course. But if it comes to that, I will of course do a separate session on these two operators. So let's go back to our slide, and I have a fun quiz for you, right? So first question is, what is the output of the following? And I would suggest you go to your VS Code and then you execute this piece of code and see what's the output, and then put the answer in the comment section. And whoever will put the right answers, I will give their answers a heart. So first question is, what is the output of the following? A equal to 3, B equal to 2, A into equal to B plus 1, and then you have to print the value of A. So provide the answer in the comment section. Will it be 6, 9, 7, or error? The next question is, what will be printed here? If the value of x equal to 10 and value of y equal to 5, if I'll try to print x is greater than 5 and not y is less than 5, or x is double equal to 10, that's a comparison operator, right? So you have to reply in the comment section. The value will be A true, B false, C none, or D you will get a error. The third question is, which option will result in x equal to 8 after execution? So first line of our code block is x equal to 4. Next line is what you have to tell us what it should be. And then I'll print the value of x, right? So what it will be x equal to x into 2, or it will be x plus equal to 4, or it will be x equal to x plus x, or D. That is all of the above are correct. And question number 4 is, what is the result of the following logic? I am initializing three variables, A equal to 5, B equal to 10, and C equal to 15. And then I'll print A less than B or B greater than C and not C minus B double equal to 5. So what will be the output? You please put this code of block in your Visual Studio Code and see the output. So that will help you relate to these operators in a better way. So the answer will be A true, or B false, or C syntax error, or D none. And then this is our last question. Which statement is not equal to x equal to x plus 3? So x is initialized as 7. Which one is not equivalent? So x plus equal to 3. Will the output, will it be equivalent to x plus 3? Second is x equal to 3 plus x. C is x equal to x minus and then minus 3. And D is equal to x into 3. So leave your response in the comment section and I'll give a heart to the right answer so that other students know which one is the right answer. So this is it for today's video. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel as I'm covering a full series on Python for AI and LLM. So thanks a lot for joining us today.